This video contains scans of the original 1833 edition of the Book of Commandments. You will have to pause the video to read those scans word for word. The introduction to the Doctrine and Covenants describes the origin of the Book of Commandments as church members in Missouri began printing a book titled A Book of Commandments for the Government of the Church of Christ, which contained many of the prophets' early revelations. The following scans are Chapter 4 of the Book of Commandments. This revelation is currently called Doctrine and Covenants Section 5. When this revelation was reprinted in the 1835 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants, it was changed drastically. The following shows these changes. The original wording of the revelation was a problem for Joseph Smith because it said that Joseph only had the power to translate the Book of Mormon and no other power or task in verse 2. It also says that only 3 people in Joseph's generation would see the gold plates in verse 4. The fact that Joseph Smith would claim Chapter 4 to be a revelation from God, then rewrite it and still claim it to be a revelation from God, shows that Joseph Smith had no problem with lying about God. It also shows that Joseph Smith was deceptive in his practice of receiving revelations from God. Verses 5 and 6 combined have 154 consecutive words changed. Verse 5 does not have a single word that was not changed in the republication of the revelation in the 1835 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants. Joseph Smith was a false prophet who pretended to receive revelations from God. If these revelations were really from God, then they would be sacred and unalterable. There were 2,643 changes to Joseph's revelations in the 1835 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants.